just the amendments we would like to make to our handbook.
Motion to approve?
As per with our suggestions, the changes, yeah. Okay,
comments.
so we have a motion by Mr. Bowers. Second. Second by Mr. Venezia. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Can I make just one public announcement?
Yes.
We've announced already, but try to get out to the public. Middle school have an open house on August 26th. We call it the Walkabout. It's just a 9 to 11, open the doors. Students can come up in groups with their parents, walk around with their schedules, find their rooms. Administration guidance will be here in case there's any questions about where do I go and who do I see, and if there are any questions. So that'll be August 26th. Students can come and visit for about 2 hours in the morning, and just informal. A lot of anxiety as that school September 7th rolls around, so we would just like to extend that invitation to all of our students and parents to come up.
Great.
And again, if that happens to interfere with family vacation time, parents can call us the week before and just call ahead, make an appointment. We'll do the same thing for them if they happen to be away.
And again, that's August 26th,
August 26th, 9
9
to 11.
AM.
a.m. Good point. Parents might like to come 9 to 11 p.m. The kids can
Karen
come
will be
9 to
here
11.
at 9
right.
o'clock at night.
Yeah, you'll be here at 9 o'clock.
Right?
So true.
Well, congratulations, Patrick and John. Good luck with working with
Yeah.
Kathy on the
Well, we
search.
train them well in the middle school, so
Yeah, that
I'm
was
looking forward to it. So,
very quick training there. Very, very quick.
Great.
Look forward to working with you, Patrick, in the new role.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I think in August we'd be having a lighter agenda,
I
huh?
know.
I'm gonna die.
It's my fault. I have the fan pointed right at me.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's
Perfect.
You
move
wanna
it
share
on.
your
Okay,
water?
next, review of fiscal year 11 capital improvements. Kathy, Carl, I believe, on this one.
Yes, Carl will be taking this
Okay.
forward.
Thank you. Well, you have in your packet some information about large capital. And as you know, twice a year, we review our large capital plan. The plan that you have in front of you shows a little bit of history, the past 3 years of recommended and approved projects. And then you have FY 12 and 13 shown as the proposed projects. The reason this is being brought to you is because October town meeting, the town administrator has announced that he's seeking the school department's plan or requests for October town meeting. It's important to realize that typically the October town meeting large capital is both school and municipal government is a bit more conservative in the approach they take. They tend to use October town meeting as more of the emergency requirements, since we've just had a June request 4 months prior. The funds that are available for October town meeting are unknown yet because the town accountant has to close the fiscal year and determine what free cash is available for this purpose. So, what we'd like to do is discuss with you the changes that the administration has recommended, which are rather minor, and then get feedback from the committee on how it wishes to proceed. So, if you would, we'd like to draw your attention to point number 3 on the large capital list, which is a new item. And Principal Glenn McKay has described a problem that we've been aware of for some time. The concrete walkway that leads from the flagpole area, the bus turnaround, to the front door, and that same concrete walkway that runs along the building to the side parking lot wasn't properly constructed in the 1999 hood renovation. It appears that there's insufficient foundation underneath that concrete walkway, and during the freeze-thaw cycle, particularly in the spring, it buckles, it rises, to the point where it's unsafe, to the point where they cone it off many times
right.
during the winter because of the fact it's cracking and it's uneven. So it appears that it's time, as a safety measure, that we address this. And for it's also going to be very difficult to do so for this school year, because you'd have to close down the front walkway for perhaps 2 weeks or so while you did this work. So what we're gonna try to do because this past spring was particularly bad, is we're going to be seeking a temporary solution whereby we're gonna literally be shaving, if you will, almost, there's equipment out there that the best I can describe it as is almost like a cheese knife, where you can literally shave pieces of the concrete back using some motorized equipment, so that we'll do that in order to keep the walkway as safe and as straight as possible. But then we would seek the committee's acquiescence to ask April and/or June town meeting for a rebuild of
Is that the
this.
30,000 is the
That's
rebuild?
our present, we're gonna seek specific, we have to go out to bid and get numbers, but
So
that's
wait
our
for- wait
professional
for
opinion
April.
at this point, what that would cost.
Carl, this is tied in tangentially, I think, to that drainage program that was approved, where I think they're gonna be working at the Hood School, I believe, to try to divert some of that runoff, aren't they? You know,
Yes.
I forget, I think it was the Martins Pond
Yes, it
Committee,
is.
or, right.
There was, I remember the DPW director, Mr. Carnavale, is spearheading a town effort, because it's a wider, more holistic program,
Right.
to try to mitigate the flooding in the Martins Pond area.
So
And
once we get that done and this rebuilt, hopefully we'll have a solution where we won't have to fix any problems again, correct?
Yet, if you're inferring that program that you're referring to is going to assist us here, I'm not sure.
Oh, is that somewhere else at the Hood School? Because I know they talked about fixing the poor drainage at the Hood School, where the water was not going down where it was supposed to, and it was causing a lot of problems. I know there was a back door, they said, where it was so icy that
Yes.
couldn't get in there, and I don't know if it relates directly to this or not.
We would have to work closely with the town on that project to
Okay.
make sure that we're working in concert with each other. And I believe that you're correct, that project, I see a typo on there, causes. But I believe that you're right, that the water will be reduced in that area. But we also feel that it's almost the foundation underneath that
Oh, okay.
walkway is the problem. You know, when you're building a concrete walkway, you want to build a channel, you want to tamp it down, you want to have a gravel underlayment so that you have proper drainage, and it appears that wasn't the case. It appears they just laid concrete along that front and side.
Okay.
So,
We don't need any action tonight on this because it's for April, right?
well, no, except that I think it's probably appropriate for the committee to, every 6 months, take a position on the large capital list, so we have a current committee acceptance of our plan.
Okay.
You'll also notice that the primary listings in FY12 are capital items that reference the need for a new secondary school plan. And I suppose it's always appropriate to remind the public, that should we not be successful in the months ahead in approving a secondary school plan, we are going to have, and I say this number advisedly, millions of dollars worth of needs at both the middle school and high school. So we are listing those needs in our FY12 plan, and we hope that we'll be able to remove those someday. But at the present time, we think it's appropriate. All of the various listings here, whether it be window replacement, heating upgrades, a septic and/or sewage treatment plant, are all numbers that engineers and/or architects have provided us. These are not numbers we pulled out of the air, and these are all numbers that have been included in our filings with the MSBA. So these are studied, careful estimates that represent the administration's viewpoint as to what the capital needs for our district are. We've also been successful in the previous version, which you don't have in front of you, we had some vehicles listed in FY11,
All right.
FY12, and I think through some aggressive maintenance, we feel comfortable in putting those off one more year. Yet I suspect that when we come back to you for the April town meeting, they may appear at that time. So, in summary, Mr. Chairman, I believe that the administration is is not making any October large capital requests. We took care of those in April and June town meeting, and we would await the April session for the FY12 considerations.
Chairman, do you need a motion to move that forward to FY11? That,
Which one is that?
the walkway that Kyle's talking about?
It would be FY12 though,
Well-
because he's talking about doing it at the April
Yes,
town meeting.
At the April town meeting.
Yeah, I don't think you need a specific motion, but if you may have questions, or if you are comfortable with this document as it stands, I think we would ask you to make a motion to accept it as our
Oh, like that.
July 30th.
This is FY11 now. You don't want to, because if you vote it in April, you won't do the work till the summer, right?
Right. October town meeting would be FY11 projects.
Yeah.
But he
April
doesn't want it.
April would be, okay.
April would be
Wow.
FY12 projects, and we would come back to you prior to April for an editing or updating of this.
And we could take a vote just to, we could have a motion just to, I guess, approve the plan as we have it now, or to approve these projects, not to put them on a warrant or anything. I think that would be, because it makes sense for us as Carl said, every 6 months or year or so to give our approval to the projects we have here. It's not like we're asking them to be funded at this time. We're just saying as a committee, we approve this, maybe approve's the wrong word.
There's consensus
Accept.
that these are priorities.
Right, we accept this list of, there you go. Accept the list of projects.
I'll move to accept the list of projects.
Motion by Mr. Bowers, do we have a second?
Well put, Cliff. I'll second.
Second by Mr. Metzger. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, next is the Mass Executive Institute report. Is that is that the superintendent's meeting you attended?
It is. I attended this summer. In the interest of time, I would be willing to put this off to another agenda, or
Damn it, I wanted to
No.
hear this. Oh.
I think that's a good idea.
Second.
We'll put
Oh,
that, we actually can even probably discuss it at the goals workshop.
at the workshop.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
We also do that to the Common Core.
Common
standard.
Core standards, we could do that same thing. I mean, it's just, I think most people know that the state has approved the Common Core standards.
Sure. Well, what I gave out to you tonight was a bulleted list that represents the review of about 10 documents, including the Pioneer Institute's white paper. So I'm not gonna, we can talk about it further at the workshop for goals. But this is just, I gave you some background, I gave you some of the actions that have been taken place at the Mass DESE level, the Pioneer Institute's rebuttal, if you will, about why they don't think we should move ahead, and some next steps. So that's for your
I
information.
think if we need to, we can discuss it at the goal meeting. My only concern, and I talked to Kathy about this and asked her to put it on here, is if it's going to eventually cost this district money in terms of new training, textbooks, or whatever might be required. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that this coming,
Next steps.
Year.
Turn to the third page.
okay.
All districts will be expected to align their curricula to the new standards by the start of the 2012-2013 school year. Lots of things are gonna happen, and so on that third page, you can see how DESE is going to play this out. But there are expectations that will have implications for cost that are associated with professional development and potential alignment of curricula.
But your hope is, given that they based a lot of this on Massachusetts' current standards, that we may not have to make as many changes as.
That's correct. It is well known that the Massachusetts working drafts of 2010 for both ELA and mathematics were used as primary documents in the development of the Mass Core standards, along with California's standards. So, but there's only about a 90% match right now between the Common Core standards and the Mass working drafts. So the states have up to 15% discretion of adding and updating and including additional standards, if you will. But DESE is saying that mass augmentation will be brought to the board for approval by late fall for final adoption. So this is moving very rapidly, and it's all included in this document. We can review it further if you'd like.
Any comments, questions? I've
Not
made it,
until our workshop.
okay.
You too.
All right, next, bills and payroll, I think, are done. Minutes,
In the packet, you have minutes.
We have the June 28th, 2000.